Hello my friends, Gene from Regular Guy Mountain Biking. In this video, we'll be taking a look at the new Mihogo Air. This is a new e-bike that they have out, full carbon frame, pretty snazzy. I'll get into all the details in just a moment. First thing we'll do is a quick build up of the bike, and then again, go for some riding and get into some details. Other than the bike itself, here's what you can expect to get in the package. You get some pedals, the charger, headlight, you get a pedal wrench, the skewer for the front wheel, the charger plug, cool little multi-tool, key to take the battery out of the bike, and of course some instructions. Right, not a whole lot. The bike is almost entirely put together, so it's a quick build, and that's pretty much all you get. We just want to get to the build and get riding this bike. Installing the handlebars is really easy, so don't overcomplicate this. You get a multi-tool, use the multi-tool to take the front bracket off the stem. I put the handlebars in the stem just for a quick fit to see how they would look. After that, I put the bracket back on the front of the stem, put in 2 of the bolts just to kind of snug them in to hold the handlebars in place. Then I added the other 2 bolts. I didn't make the first 2 bolts tight yet, just enough to hold the bars in place. Then I added in the other 2 bolts, and then I slowly put each bolt in, just tweaking one bolt, then moving to another one, tweaking it a little bit. You don't want to crank one down and then go to the other one. You have to go little by little through all 4 one at a time. But again, not a big deal. After that, you want to go and tighten the stem on the actual fork, right? Because it's not really tight yet. So you want to tighten that down. I don't go too crazy here because when I actually sit on the bike, I'll do some final tweaking, but just enough so that everything stays in place. This is not a big deal at all. Now let's install the front wheel. First thing you have to do is remove the small red brake caliper spacer. These are just here to make sure you don't accidentally hit the brakes and push out the pistons. Sometimes they're yellow, these are red, doesn't make a difference. You just pop that out with your hand. Next up is the stanchion bolt that's simply just used for shipping to make sure that the stanchions don't get broken during shipping. You don't use this again, you can throw them away. Okay, now we're going to go and take care of the skewer for the front wheel. Just take that apart, and then you'll insert that in the front wheel. The lever side goes opposite of the brake rotor. All right, then you're going to put the spring back on. Little side goes on the inside, and the bigger part of the spring goes on the outside. And then just finger tight the nut on. Don't go too far because it makes it hard to put the wheel back on the fork. Now we'll attach the wheel to the fork. This can be a little bit tricky, especially getting the rotor inside of the brake calipers. Just take your time. You might want to actually do this with a friend, put the bike actually on the ground, and do this with the bike on the ground. It makes it a little easier. It can be a bit of a bugger. This is probably the hardest part. It's not terrible, but it can be a little bit of a bugger. You'll notice that I actually put the bike on the ground for the final sitting of the wheel in the fork. It just makes sure everything's in the right place. Okay, tighten it up, and you're good to go. Time to install the front fender. There are 3 bolts you have to take off. 1 on either side of the stanchions, and then 1 on the top of the stanchion. You now slide the fender in from the back of the stanchion. You can see that the longer side of the fender goes to the back of the bike. And then I just, kind of finger tight the bolts in to get it in place, to hold it there. And then install the 3 bolts. This is not a complicated thing here. You use your multi-tool, install the 3 bolts, and you're good to go. It is a really nice fender. It definitely protects the bike and the wheel. It's pretty big. It'll definitely take care of rain and things like that if you're out there commuting in some of the off type weather. This is, again, very easy. 3 bolts, tighten up with the multi-tool, and you're good to go. Our build is now just about complete. You really should attach the pedals to your bicycle. The pedals are labeled which one goes on the left and the right. Okay, so this one is going to go on the left of the bike. This one's going on the right. The right side of the bike pedal, this one screws on normally, meaning you just screw it on like you normally would. Take that pedal wrench out and tighten it up. The one on the other side of the bike, right, the left side of the bike, that one has the reverse thread. So thread that one on the opposite way, and again, take that wrench out and tighten it up, and you're good to go. Don't forget to install the headlight that comes with the bike. This is also really simple. There's a small bracket that wraps around the handlebars. So wrap that around the handlebars and use the multi-tool to tighten that down. To attach the headlight to the wiring harness, there's just a small adapter. You just plug the 2 together. It can only go in one way, so you really can't screw it up. I fiddled around with this to make it look the way I wanted, but this is very easy to do. That is it, my friends. Our bike is built. Let's now do a quick review of some of the components that come on the Mihogo Air and get on with the riding. The Mihogo Air is built around a carbon fiber frame that uses Toray T800 carbon fiber. Because of this, the frame only weighs 7 pounds. This weight savings and a handle built into the frame makes it pretty easy to move around. On the bars, you'll find your standard controls. You'll find your gear shifter, your brake levers, and the controls to handle the electronics on the e-bike. Some of the cool features I found on this bike would be the headlight up front and these really nice side runner lights that'll keep you safe on the road late at night. There's also a USB-C charging port built directly into the controller to charge up your phone. And then I also found the button for the horn that I had a little bit more fun with than I probably should have. All the electronics and cables are neatly organized, which really gives the bike a very clean look. And all the electronics meet IP67 waterproof standards. To help smooth out the ride, the Air comes with a suspension fork. This fork features both a lockout and a preload control, both on top of the stanchions on either side of the bike. Those brake levers you saw on the handlebars drive front and rear hydraulic brakes, a nice upgrade from cable brakes. Just in case the ride gets a little muddy, you'll find fenders on both the front and the rear wheels. As far as the drivetrain goes, there's a Shimano 7-speed shifter on the bars that drives a Shimano Altus derailleur in the back of the bike. The bike comes with some pretty decent pedals that are attached to 152mm cranks, which spin a rather large chainring. Gearing goes like this. Up front, you'll find a 52-tooth chainring, and on the back of the bike, there is a 14 to 28-tooth range cassette. You'll find multiple mounting points on the frame to attach accessories. You can choose from racks, bags, water bottles, locks. There are all kinds of items you can attach to the frame. The Air I received supports a single battery that lives in the frame. You can easily remove this battery by unlocking it with the provided key. The battery offers a power switch. When turned on, you can charge your phone or other items via the USB port, and you can check the battery level using the indicator lights. You charge this battery via the charging port, but something to note, you cannot charge the battery when it's inside the frame, so just don't lose the key. Finally, let's adjust the seat height and go for a spin. Adjusting the seat is very easy with the large seat post clamp. Usually I wouldn't make such a big deal about this, but I just found it so easy to adjust the seat height, and I love the large, sturdy seat post. The 250-watt hub motor is engaged by way of pedal assist and not a throttle. Once the torque sensors in the cranks sense that you're pedaling, the E part of the bike comes alive. When cruising on flat roads, the 250-watt motor should get you upwards to around 16 miles per hour. I found myself more often than not around the 20s. You can expect to get around 64 miles per charge out of the 9.6 amp hour battery. The battery takes around 5 hours to charge back up again when fully drained. I wish I could have tested this distance out more, but I received this test bike right when winter started, so getting out wasn't too easy for me. I was lucky to grab a few days before the snow came in. So I live in a relatively hilly area, and climbing more significant hills was the only time I found the 250-watt motor to struggle some. The 750-watt motor that comes with the Max would have been a better fit for my location. I can say this with some confidence because I did do a review of the Mihogo NX that does come with a 750-watt motor, and that e-bike just cruised up and down the hills with ease. Now, if you live in a relatively flat area with just some gradual inclines, the 250 is going to be absolutely perfect for you. The Air is a very comfortable bike to ride. With its commuter-based design, it has you sitting up nicely and the seat is quite comfortable. This is easily the kind of bike I could see either me or my family using, riding around my lake community and having some fun. It's pretty common for a rider to have to lift up a commuter bike, maybe to get in and out of an apartment or up and down stairs. The carbon fiber frame has a handle built right into it, making this bike very easy to lift. An area of this bike that I'm really looking forward to spending more time with once it warms up a little bit around here is the navigation features. You can pair your phone up with the bike's controller, and the controller will offer you smart navigation via the Mihogo app. This app offers some nifty functionality. Once you pair your phone with the bike's computer, it'll even automatically unlock the bike based on proximity. You'll have to keep an eye out on my Instagram channel for lots of updates as I learn more. I'm a big fan of this bike and can honestly say that I'm going to look into buying a second one for my wife once the weather warms up so we can go do some bike tours together. From its high quality carbon fiber frame to its attention to detail, the Mihogo Air is truly a winner, and I can say for sure that you'll enjoy this bike if you get one of your own. This is Gene from Regular Guy Mountain Biking. Keep the party on the pedals, my friends, and I'll catch you in the next video.